But I believe in coloring the world, gotta holler to be heard in time. We can fight back, ready to go right back to the sky, to the moon, making my skyline brand new. You, you get my heart in trouble.
Hi friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. This week in the studio we are back on track making project bags. We've just finished the March craft fair, yay! And took the rest of the weekend off to relax and regroup, and now we are back to making the project bags. So I am hitting the ground running. Monday night we are going to start ironing the fabrics and getting them all ready to go because I have a lot. We are on to the Drawstring project bags. So this is a really great pattern by Can Do Crafts, and we got 3 sizes. I make the large size, which is just a tad bigger than the squishy bags we just made. So it's kind of like the next size up, but it's still pretty much the same size as those ones, which is 13.5 by 10 by 5. But they have the cute drawstrings and a little handle, so they're a little different variety on the project bag. We have all of our fun fabrics that we're going to be using for this, and our Harry Potter houses, and lots of cool fabrics like that. I've got at least 8 of these to make, maybe more depending on. I've kind of slotted 2 weeks for this, knowing that it was probably going to take me 2 weeks, so we'll see how many we get through. And then we've got at least 4 sweater bags to make in one of those upcoming weeks. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've set myself too large a bite to take. And then we're going to have to make coin purses and pencil pouches and stuff as well. So I have to plan out that as well. We will be taking a vacation coming up. I've planned the vacation just for the actual weeknights, so technically I have a weekend either side of that I could be catching up on this stuff. So maybe we can do some of the smaller stuff before and after the vacation. So there, yeah, that would be some good catch-up time for me. But otherwise, we're just hanging out and getting some more project bags made this week. And as always, I really appreciate you being here and hitting the like button and the subscribe button. We've got about 50-50 subscribers who watch the channel and then non-subscribers. And it would really help me out if you could hit the subscribe button, comment, like, anything you do to interact with the channel really helps boost me and put me in front of more people. So I would really appreciate that. So if making more project bags sounds like a good time to you, go ahead and grab yourselves a cozy beverage or a water, curl up, and let's start prepping this fabric. I was supposed to have all this ironed and cut by hopefully Friday night so that I can get started on them on Saturday. And that has not happened, so I am feeling a bit behind. The good news is we've got technically 2 weekends for this, although I would like to get it done sooner than that because we have a lot to do. But the good news is that we do have extra time if we need it. Okay, so here's all our fabric. There we go. And we'll get started on these. Okay, this is the extra fabric I got to go with our leftovers of the Day of the Dead Star Wars. I'm wondering if any of my glitter vinyls would work with this because I did a glitter vinyl in the squishy bag. I have a glitter vinyl to use for the sweater bag. So I think it would be nice to have one for this, and that blue might work. I don't know, it's a little darker than that. What do we think? It's a little darker than that. I don't know that the glitter, there's already a lot going on here. So maybe not. I thought it would just be nice to use glitter in more than that. Let's see what else we've got going on later. Later on, we have this, which might lend itself to some glitter with the I'm really not going to use the pink, so that might be nice because we have a pink interior. Although I do have that one lady who wanted pink, so I still have to talk to her about her bag. These guys I think we're fine without, so. Okay, well, no glitter vinyl for this size. I thought it would be cute if we could do multiples. So like this is obviously like Gryffindor, right? But I could do the green and the blue and like a yellow, and we could do more than one of these. And then we've got the, I keep calling it the wrong thing. What is it? The Daily Prophet. The Daily Prophet for the inside. So there's technically 3 fabrics we have to iron for that, which is annoying. Okay, moving on. Okay, well, since the glitter vinyl didn't work on the other one, I thought this would be a good one to do because I do have green glitter vinyl. Oh, that's kind of crazy. That's really crazy, but that matches very well. I've got a darker green. I think it's going to be too much. Yeah, that's too much. I'm wondering also, I've got, I don't know about the lime green, is a little crazy. I do have, I don't think that's the right color either. And I have the purple, but I need to make sure I have enough of the purple glitter vinyl for the sweater bag. So that's kind of crazy, huh? I already cut out the lining fabric for these pieces, so I would be wasting that. Yeah, I think that's a little crazy. I think we'll stick with the other one. Although this would be a cute handle, just to give a glimpse of it, but then what's the point if it's just the handle? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So, oh well. I was trying to get fancy there. So one of our astronomy professors was taking her students to JPL for a tour and invited me along, and I was thrilled. I was geeking out all day. So they have a little museum there that we got to tour with a half-size Cassini probe and a full-size Voyager model, and so it's just really fun to see everything. And here's the museum. We had an infrared camera where we got to see our hot bodies on the screen. And then we went to a viewing area for their clean room where they're working on 2 different projects. One is a high altitude balloon. So here they are in their clean suits working on things. This is like a big piece of heavy duty saran wrap that they're wrapping around this thing with this special tape. So very, very interesting to see them at work and the students asking questions and just being like fully engaged. How do you get a job here? And they have summer internships. So that was fun to see the kids light up about that. So that's the thing that's going to be attached to a high altitude balloon. And then we got to go into the control room. It's kind of like ground control, like Houston, except it's here in California. So it's been continuously operated since 1965, which is great. So they handle all of the non-manned missions from this place, and they get all the data coming back from all of the probes and all of the satellites, and they collect all that information here. And yeah, it was really fun to get to see everything and geek out and see the students light up as well. So I really enjoyed myself. So for the handle, since I'm not doing a traditional like cork or leather handle, what we can do is add some more stability to this with like some Decoville light or something, or a little strip of what's the other one? Not Peltex, because that's too firm, but like a strip of fusible fleece or Decoville light would be perfect in there. I think it's strong enough. Yeah, it is kind of floppy. Okay, we'll do that. We'll add that in there. And then we are gonna do the same thing we did on the squishy bag. We are gonna take a little bit off of this piece so that the pretty fabric wraps around a little bit. And then we did not put any SF101 on the drawstring channels because, like we discovered last time I made this bag, it adds way too much bulk onto the drawstring channels. So we're not going to worry about that at all. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to get a little piece of, oh, I purposely left it off this end. I was supposed to cut off that end. Oh well, I'll have to remember that for the next piece. Just glad I remembered to cut it off at all. So here I have my Decoville light. It doesn't even really need to be this big or this thick. It can pretty much just be like some decor bond, whatever you have lying around. And I'm just going to put it in one little strip of this. So I'm going to cut it at 3/4 of an inch, because we're just putting it in one of those folds, and then I'm going to cut it the right length. Okay, and then I am just going to iron it in to one of these pieces like this, and that'll just give us a little bit of stability. So I'm going to iron it in first before we sew it, and that's just going to chunk it up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little different with the pockets here. What I did was just 4 inches in from this side, and then I went over here, so we've got a nice big pocket in the middle, and then I just did a little teeny strip here, which is big enough for hooks or a pencil, and then another one over here, which by the time we sew this all together is probably going to be about 2 inches. And this one's 1.5 inches. This one is 6 inches, and this one is 4 inches, which will be about 3.5 by the time we're done. So I figure change up the pockets a little bit and see what we think about that. So we're going to sew this down, and then we are going to do the drawstring channels, which got to familiarize myself with that. It's been a while. And the other thing you could do is just 2 large pockets if you want to do that. And you can also do this on both sides, which is in the pattern, is 2 sets of pockets. So you could do this kind of layout on one side and 2 pockets, 2 large pockets on the other side. Okay, then what are we doing? Okay, so we're actually going to assemble the exterior and the lining separately. And then we're going to deal with the drawstring channels. We got to attach the handle. I have a big no SF101 written on the drawstring channels. And I'm going to do those a little differently. So let's go ahead and put the bag together up until that point, and then we'll come back and do the drawstring channels. Okay, we're going to sew these together at 1/2 inch. I was smart this time. Whenever I remember to do it, I like to iron on my label when it's flat, because it's so much harder to iron on when it's curved after I'm done making it. But sometimes, you know, I just forget all about it, which is why I'm glad I have the iron-on ones, just in case I totally forget about it. So we are going to put our tape on our machine. At the 1/2 inch. So we had to cut 1 inch off of this at an angle, and then we're gonna attach it to this. I'm gonna have it on this side since I already put my label on. And it's gonna have to be 3 inches from the seam. So this is gonna kind of be sticking out the seam here. And this is the only hard part, is trying to get it to stay at this angle when we sew it. So the first one's easy because it's flat. The second one we're gonna have to curve around, and that's gonna be a pain. So just gonna check that this cut end where the slant starts is what we're gonna do there. And I'm gonna take off the base so I can get in there better. And then we're just gonna sew 1/4 inch across. And then same thing when it comes to actually sewing the whole thing together. These are gonna wanna move. So you're just gonna have to keep track of those, keep an eye on those. So that's it there, that looks nice. And we're just gonna sew the lining together the same way. And then we'll get to our drawstrings. Okay, time to do the drawstrings. So we have not SF101 them because we don't want them to be thick. We're gonna double turn them under by 1/4 inch. So I like using this Clover heat-proof ruler. Let's get you a little closer here. So I like using this, and then it's got a 1/4 inch mark. So I need to be a little more precise. You can always just fudge this, but I kind of like to be precise here. And once I get a feel for what that 1/4 inch really looks like, as normally I do a 1/2 inch. So you can put the iron right on this, which is great. And I usually do it again because obviously there's a piece of ruler in there taking up space. So I'll just press it again. And then we will roll this over one more time so that this is a clean edge, and we're going to top stitch on that. So we're going to do that for all 4 of these edges, and then this is going to leave a nice clean channel for the drawstring cord to go in. And what I like to use is the twill tape. So I've tried several different things. I found that the twill tape was the neatest for me. I do have some cording that I've used in the past, and it just kind of unravels on the end after I tie them, and it's just not really the look for me. So I use the twill tape. The good thing about doing this so far in advance, I'm glad we scheduled this one further in advance, is that I can go through the twill tape I already have, see what colors go well with these bags, and then if I don't have enough, I can order some more on Etsy. That's who I get it from. There's an Etsy supplier. I'll link that information down below. So I have plenty of time here to make all of these, and since we add the drawstring channels afterwards, I can go ahead and figure out what colors I want. And if I don't have enough, I can order some. So that's nice. Okay, so we are going to top stitch all 4 of these ends, and then we are going to put them wrong sides together. And we're going to do a line of top stitching. I'll have to look at my notes. What she has in the pattern I found isn't wide enough for both my drawstring channels, so I made it a little wider. So we will do this. I will also link at the end to the first video of this that we did in the year of bags, where I go into much more detail about the pattern if you would like to watch that. Okay, so we're going to attach these to the exterior first, and what we want to do is just make sure you can go ahead and center them if you want. But I like to just make sure that I've got this little bit of gap here on the side, and that it's the same on both sides. But obviously, if you were to find your center, that would work as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and clip these down. So we're basically just gonna baste these on this side, and then we're gonna sew the whole thing together. I'm just going to iron this edge nice and flat with the drawstring channel really pulled out there. The handle's going to be on top, and then we're just going to top stitch this whole thing. Okay, last step, we're going to see which color twill tape is going to go good with this guy. So I have this red, but since it's kind of a purple base, I don't think that's going to look great. We do have this yellow, which is quite interesting. I think the green is not the right color green. It's more of a sagey green. This is so close. It's so close and I really like it, but I think I'm going to go with the yellow because it's a nice deep yellow. This one would work. This one would work as well if you wanted to. It's just a little off for me. I feel like the yellow works a little bit better, especially as a contrast with the purple, which is where it's going. So we will use this color. And then what we're going to do is we're going to double fold this and sew this, which means I need to put some yellow thread in my machine. And we're just going to make that look as nice as possible. I forgot to turn you guys on. So it looks like 48 inches is correct because I've got this little tail over here. Although when we pull it tight, we'll see. Might go a little smaller than that. But. So in order to avoid poking a hole in my end, I'm just putting it through there. And this baby diaper pin is the head is a little too big to get through my opening here. So probably better off with just a regular safety pin. And then when we pull this whole thing tight, they are a little long because they are going under. So I could probably lose another 3 inches off of here, because if I lost 3, actually I could lose more. If I lost 5 inches, then that would probably be good. Yeah, because then the ties would be up to here. Okay, so I'm going to lose 5 inches. Okay, and then we've got our pockets, which actually wound up in the front. And I do like this one because it's just big enough to put a pen or a hook in. This one, the same thing. It's just big enough for a pen or a hook. So you got 2 of those. You got a nice wide one that you can fit. You can fit your pattern if you folded it in 4, and then another little one over here for scissors. Okay, so we have made 3.9 project bags. So I have finished a 4th project bag. I just haven't done the drawstrings yet. So that's where we're at with those. And we've got 4 more to make. So we are right on schedule with our bag making, to the point where I'm going to start thinking about all the little things that we need to make. It is a 4-day show. We're doing the LA Yarn Crawl. I'm going to have a pop-up shop in the Knitting Tree LA. So over those 4 days, I would like to have enough bags to really be able to make it profitable, worth our time for sitting there for 4 days, and then also getting my bags out in front of as many yarny people as I can, because I think I might want to start focusing on that more. So that's where we're at. Let's take a look at the other bags. I didn't realize that I saved all the pet things for this size bag. So we have our cute islandy cats. Looks very islandy to me for some reason. We've got our dogs in their portrait frames, fancy dogs, and then we've got a sewing one, which is really fun. And then the beetles. I had quite a few people request more goth style dark academia bags, so I got some more moths and beetles and things like that, just to focus on that audience a little bit more. So yeah, very excited to get some of this stuff done. Oh, and I finished my triangle shawl, so let's take a look at that. Okay, we have finished it. This is the Teal Tenacity shawl from Expression Fiber Arts. I changed the border. I just made like a little scallop border on the end, which is very cute. So there, it's not very big because it is 3 skeins and not 4. And the triangle goes like all the way to my butt, but the sides are not very long. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so it's kind of long there, but the ends don't come together very well. Like I can't really tie them. So I think I'm just gonna have to wear one of my scarf things, because that just looks kind of silly. But I really love the way it turned out with that design. It's really nice. So very happy with that. And we are coming along nicely with our Advent project. So I did change my mind on the pattern. It was too difficult. So we are back to the apple cider shawl. I can't really make it very wide because they're Advent minis. So I measured like how tall I needed it to be, which is 2.5 or 3 inches tall per color to get me to the right length. So that's what I did. Okay, so that's it for this week. We're gonna finish up the rest of the project bags in the next video, and then we are on to the smaller stuff. So we're gonna be doing some Sock Saver DPN condoms, whatever you want to call them. And then I think I might make some of those project sleeves that have a vinyl window in the front for things like EPP and embroidery, and you could even put your like motifs. If you're making a blanket out of minis and you have a bunch of motifs, would go good in there. And I think that's it for small stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and put together all of the pencil pouches. We're gonna call them Notions pouches for this show. From last year's fabric, and then we will make some coin purses out of this year's fabric. I'm not sure what we're doing yet. It depends on how much time I have left. I'm also thinking of doing a lazy weekend, just to give myself some time off to relax, because I have been going gangbusters this whole year. And I think as long as I feel comfortable that we've accomplished enough and we have enough stuff to sell, I might give myself a weekend off. So we will see what happens. We also have a vacation coming up, so I'm hoping to relax and like sit on the beach and do all those fun things up in Cambria, which is one of my favorite places to visit up in the central coast of California. So thank you for joining me and being here and listening to me, and I hope to see you back here next week. Love you, friends. Bye.
Last year we went to the eye. I remember your smile reflecting the light. We didn't care what tomorrow would bring. It was only right now the sun was alive. Can still see you walk down the shore, holding in all the secrets, kept me waiting for the answers. The answers.